Hello again, friends. So we did actually get some gameplay out of the DC fandom for the Gotham Knights. For the Gotham Knights gameplay, gameplay. Duh, come on. Okay, so let's get into it. So all gameplays from a pre-alpha game build. So if you see some things still need rendered, just ignore them, I guess. Point them out for them. So it's Mr. Freeze
I'm
taking
Patrick
over.
Reddy, creative director on Gotham Knights. On behalf of the whole team at
that's
WB
cool.
Games
Good
Montreal, I'm really honored to give you a quick look at our gameplay.
Elliott Center is covered in ice.
So this is where
Whatever's
you.
causing this is localized at the top.
This
We're
looks
gonna
like
look
where
at
you
a
start
short
out.
clip from one of Gotham Knights' villain crimes in a pre-alpha build.
Okay.
This mission is halfway
Is this
through
person
the
in
Mr. Freeze
control here,
storyline,
or
and we're playing
halfway
Batgirl
through?
a dozen or so hours into her character progression.
Robin joined the session. The top right. Dozen or so hours. Okay, into it.
All units at Elliott Center. Air support
Okay,
inbound.
and we'll break this down even more. We'll stop the
Hostiles
screen
opening fire
and
on
go
upper
through it
floors.
at the end
Air
here.
support, can you do a fly around?
Freeze has recently returned to Gotham with a mysterious agenda that involves manipulating the weather to flash freeze the city.
Okay,
Way to get through that ice.
An
that's
important goal
classic.
for Gotham Knights was that players
Classic
can
movie
play
here.
all of the game,
Was that
either
Robin?
solo or
Okay.
in two-player co-op.
He wants a fight.
Oh, two-player play co-op. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat feature. You can play two-player co-op. on
Robin
this.
learned how to access the Justice League satellite for short-range teleportation.
Robin can short-range teleport. Okay, that's interesting.
Meanwhile,
So what can
Batgirl
she
has
do?
mastered some more familiar techniques.
Okay. So if you want the Batman stuff, you play as Batgirl. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely
And developed a few new ones of
a
her own.
little jumpy. Pretty interesting. She just summoned some bats on them. Okay, you got the bat bars at the bottom.
Here, heard you're down there having some fun.
Fun's one
Don't
word.
really like the look of those.
Just a heads up, the chopper's under orders to fire on anything that moves inside.
This definitely seems pre-scripted. Definitely seems to feel exactly, almost like the Avengers game. So I haven't been a big fan of that. Definitely, this looks definitely kind of cartoonish here. Arcade-ish, I guess, not cartoonish. Arcade-ish here.
GCPD chopper made that part easy.
I don't know. I mean, I think some people definitely enjoyed, definitely enjoying
This
Avengers.
doesn't look up to code.
But I think we all wanted more out of it, kind of nothing that's kind of like scripted like this. More of an open world gameplay of it. I think the Batman games so far have done really well. So they have kind of a lot of it to live up to for
If
those.
anyone asks, I meant to do that.
I won't say a word.
Okay. Did see some things popping in and
Wars
out
were
there.
still going on when Freeze came through.
Those poor people. They didn't stand a chance.
Gotham Knights is built to let players approach each challenge with their preferred style and their preferred build.
Preferred style, preferred build. Does that mean preferred character? Or do you have to do a certain character, certain time of the
Only
story?
take a second.
Which, I don't know. Definitely seems like that could be a linear storyline. At first it seemed like they weren't very very big sponges. These guys seem to be a little bit more sponges, I guess. The animations could definitely use some work, especially from the NPCs.
No precision.
Oh, nice dodge there. That's kind of cool. It's some pretty interesting, pretty good
Dad, you're it.
animations, here definitely. That's pretty cool. If that was, it seems like there's co-op going on, so they had to time that just right to get that kind of effect and hit. Interesting.
Not the safest time to take the elevator.
You'd rather take the stairs?
These cables on the floor. Guaranteed they lead to freeze.
It is interesting to have Freeze, you know, back in the game, in a Batman game, because he was. I definitely remember, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Freeze in the movies as a kid. It was great. It was absolutely great. One of my favorite
We need to
Batmans.
stop this now.
Belfry wasn't kidding about this storm.
Almost there.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely seems a little bit too much. What you know, Freeze
See the weather machine. Ready with the
that
disruptor.
he would do.
That thing's drawing so much power.
I mean, the voice acting could be better. It's kind of like, that thing's drawing so much power.
Field disruptors in
Could be
place.
better. It seems like he didn't mean
It's
it.
charging.
And how did you know that? That's interesting. That's cool.
Is that what you're calling it?
I like that Freeze metal suit.
You
That makes a
don't
lot
wanna
more
be on
sense.
the roof when
pretty
this
cool.
disruptor goes off. Trust me.
Irrelevant. I already have what I
Definitely the mouths and, you know, the voices need to be matched up with them.
The storm has risen over Gotham. Nothing can stop it.
We'll see about that.
You cannot run from me.
It'd be interesting to see how this plays into the overall story. You know, obviously he had done this to the city in a
Important
major
element of
way.
Gotham Knights is that as the player increases in power and ability,
How would the
their
city
foes
recover?
keep pace. So confronting a villain like Mr. Freeze can be a very different proposition at level 5 or at level 15.
Why would you be
And not just
facing
in
him
terms
at
of
level
stats,
5?
but in
and
the
level
kinds of
15?
attacks and defenses they
interesting.
bring to bear. And that was just a short peek at Gotham Knights. We're going to have more to show you in the future.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see how that kind of turns out. So that's 2021. Yeah, we saw that from the breakthrough. So let's break down some of this gameplay. So it looks like here, you know, you're definitely gonna be able to ride a motorbike.
All units.
You can see how this section here is definitely kind of like an arcade, and not necessarily. Do you have a choice? Could you go that way? There's no direction really to tell you. It doesn't seem like there's any direction to tell you where to go, but maybe this does it automatically. I don't know. We'll see. And the only thing telling you, you know, to hit this ramp is this police officer here.
All units
So,
at Elliott
interesting.
Center. Air support inbound.
That's kind of cool though. That you know, she jumps off the bike and jumps on the building like that.
Hostiles opening fire
It's
on
pretty
upper
cool. Interesting to see.
floors. Air support. Can you do a
The
fly around?
news
Freeze
kinda
has
real
recently
there.
returned to
You've got your villains have, you know, freeze guns.
Gotham with a mysterious agenda that
interesting.
involves manipulating the weather to flash freeze the city.
Interesting.
Way to get through that ice.
Yeah, what it'd be definitely interesting to see how this all plays out.
For Gotham Knights was
Gameplay. So you can see here you've got the bat, you know, the bat symbols. That's where she summons the bat from, the bat powers. I don't know, the freeze kind of seems, so far, it seems kind of overdone. I think it should have been a little bit more simple. You definitely get into like some
Code.
kind of like Tomb Raider vibes, you know, like this part here, some of the actions. So that's pretty cool and
If anyone
action packed.
asks,
That's
I
true.
meant to do that.
Some of the combat. Interesting. Definitely takes a lot just to take down one enemy. And look at this, they're just like walking right past. Definitely need some work on the NPCs. And maybe this is just turned down a level, but just the look of things and the gameplay in general definitely seems like more the Avengers style, to where it's kind of a cut scene into an action scene that you don't really have a lot of choices, and you just kind of do your thing. It seems that's kind of more like a mobile game, right? The cutscene to a little bit of action, and no, it's just definitely interesting. It's just a different kind of game. I don't think it's necessarily what we all would want out of this. I think we would all kind of want a open world game where we can kind of choose our character. And a linear story is fine if it's a good linear story, but then be able to do that story, kind of as we want to, and explore the city and things like that. Kind of comparable to Spider-Man. Be interesting to see how much freedom you have in this game, and how much it's like a mobile game. I mean, half of this gameplay demonstration is cutscenes, so hopefully it's not like that.
An important element of Gotham Knights is that as the player increases in power and ability, their foes keep pace.
And as you increase the villains increase for you. That's kind of the problem I see with a lot of games, is you don't necessarily, even though you increase, you don't really feel that you increase and you have more powers, especially in superhero superhero games and stuff like that. That is very important. For example, control. You start right out, and you can do a lot of damage right when you start out. You can throw things and things like that. You have those powers from the beginning. And that was one of my biggest complaints with the new Star Wars game, the new Star Wars game that I just played. You don't get your powers until the very end. The cool powers where you can do stuff. So you build up to the whole game, and then by the end of the game, there's nothing left for you to do. It's a linear story. And you're the villains, sure, they kind of match you, and it's a little bit more of a challenge, but you never get the abilities and things to do to make you feel like a superhero throughout the whole game. My advice definitely is maybe work on that system, make sure you get the right balance there, because you still want to be able to feel like a superhero. And so far, it just kind of seems like, oh, you're a little bit more powered person off of the street, who it takes 10 hits to knock someone out. It shouldn't feel that way. But overall, this seems more like the Avengers game that just came out. Not a big fan of that kind of game, those style of game. Definitely kind of wanted more. This definitely seems arcadey and mobile. Seems to be built around a mobile game. And that's something that, us gamers don't necessarily want. We don't really want mobile games, especially when we're going to be playing this on a console. There's reasons for console games, and for which reasons they're not mobile, so they're not put on mobile devices. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and be interesting to see more about this game.